All right,
All right.
you're live.
Okay, we'll call this meeting of the town board together. First order of business, pledge the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight to our July 4th, 2021 town board meeting. First item of business, we'll hold a public hearing on the CBG grant application for engineering funds for extension of the sewer district in the amount of $30,000. I'll ask the clerk to read the notice, please.
The town of Warrensburg will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 14th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall in Warrensburg, New York, for the purpose of hearing public comments on community needs for the town and discuss the possible submission of one or more community development block grant. CDBG applications for the current 2021 program year. The CDBG program is administered by the New York State Office of Community Renewal and will make available to eligible local governments approximately $20 million in federal fiscal program year 2021. CDBG program funding for housing, economic development, public facilities, public infrastructure, and planning activities, with the principal purpose of benefiting low and moderate income persons. The hearing will provide information about the CDBG program and will allow for citizen participation in the development of any proposed grant applications and/or to provide technical assistance to development alternative proposals. Comments on the CDBG program or proposed projects will be received at this time. The hearing is being conducted pursuant to section 570.486, subpart 1 of the CFR, and in compliance with the requirements of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. The location of the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. If accommodations are needed for persons with disability, those with hearing impairments, or those in need of translation from English, those individuals should contact the town clerk's office at 623-4561, 9 to 3 p.m. during regular business hours, or they can email the town clerk 1 week in advance of the hearing to allow for necessary arrangements. Comments may also be submitted in writing to the town Warrensburg Town Clerk, Town Hall, 3797 Main Street, Warrensburg. The last date for the town to receive comments is July 16th, 2021, 48 hours after the public hearing date of July 14th, 2021.
Okay, this is, we're reapplying for CBG funds with Warren County. We applied for this grant earlier in the year. We were turned down for $30,000. This is engineering monies to work on expanding the sewer district up in the Burdick-Abnell area of the town. So it was suggested after communicating with New York State that we reapply for this funding. So we're obligated to hold this public hearing tonight. So I'll open it up to any comments from anybody. Anybody wish to address the board on this public hearing? Any comments on YouTube that you can see?
Not yet.
Okay, I'll hold this public hearing open for a little bit in case anybody has a question, but this is strictly for $30,000. Warren County is the applicant, and we're going to piggyback on to them, and this will be to study extension of the sewer up in the Burdick-Abnell area of town. Next item, we have a bid opening on phase 1 environmental study on the old highway department property on King Street. Scope of the work to determine any land contamination and required asbestos removal in the building. We have a public notice on there.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't bring it? Okay.
No.
But anyways, it's been published in the paper. We got how many bids?
I didn't know I was supposed to do that.
One bid. One bid.
One bid was received from Chasen Companies. Okay, total amount on here. And the total amount on here is $7,650. A total of $50.
$7,650?
$7,650.
Okay. That's the only bid from Jason?
Yep.
How's the board feel about accepting this based on the engineering's recommendations?
I recommend we will.
Motion by John, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Rich to accept the bid of $7,650 from Jason Company for the study, phase one study on our old highway department building on King Street. All those in favor, do a voice vote. Cam, please.
Councilperson Alexander.
Yes.
Councilperson Brown.
Yes.
Kevin Brady.
Yes.
Councilperson Winslow. Yes. Councilperson White.
Yes.
Okay. Next. Next.
Removal of the sludge.
Removal of the sludge from lagoons to the wastewater treatment plant. Do we have any bids?
No.
Okay.
It's received.
On this bid here, our plan is to remove the sludge from the wastewater treatment lagoons. This is quite an extensive project. At the time, we were getting a lot of calls asking if we would delay the bid, and I said we can't delay the bid because we already published the bid. And we had like 7 companies interested, but they had to fly people in to look at the lagoons and with the flights and everything, so they need more time to do that. But if we'd had a bid tonight, we would have either had to accept or reject the bid. So what I'm asking the board at this time is that we rebid this and we reopen bids on the, well, that's wrong. Can somebody switch it over to July, the calendar there?
Yeah.
So, no. I would do, what time, we have what, three weeks, Bob, we would need?
You have the bidding's 5 days publication.
5, so let's.
But you want to give these people time to fly out.
Right, so what's the first Wednesday in August?
First one is 4th,
4th?
and the 11th will be the second.
Why don't we do August, or do you want to wait till 11th? We can wait, that's a whole month.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a board resolution to re-advertise for the removal of the sludge from lagoons for the 11th of August. That should give these companies more time to get here. Motion by John, second by Brian. Any discussion? All those in favor on re-advertising, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried, okay. So this will go to the 11th, August 11th,
August 11th.
and same time, 7 o'clock. Hopefully we'll get some bids, we need to do that. I think there's 8 or 9 feet of sludge in one lagoon and 6 or 5 feet in the other 2 lagoons.
Yeah, there's 4. One's got 9, one's got 7, and 2's got 5.
5, and that sludge needs to be removed for those lagoons, so we meet our outfall to the river. It's very important that we do this. And it won't be cheap, we understand that. Next item is any bids on converting one existing tennis court into 2 pickleball courts.
Yes, there's 2 received.
Okay,
First one was received at 9:25 this morning from Adirondack Sports Services. Total amount of work on this is $44,500.
Okay.
And the second bid is from Premier Pavement Marketing, LLC. And that was received this morning at 3, actually this afternoon at 3:30. Now, this one, the figure is $38,750.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
May we approach the board?
Can you approach the board?
Yes. And ask.
About this?
Yes.
Sure, come up to the microphone and ask.
Okay. Gary Cooper, Warrensburg. What is pickleball? And listen, I just asked a few people that looked at me like, I don't know. I don't want to sound ignorant, but what is pickleball? And I have a lot of clients that go to the tennis courts and they play tennis all the time in the summer. For us to spend $38,000, $40,000 on pickleball, is this something new that we don't know about? Please educate us out here on pickleball.
I can't.
I don't know the game exactly, but I do know that it's become very popular. And this would be turning one of our courts.
Just one of them.
Into two pickleball courts. And the money is to refurbish the remaining tennis courts.
I understand that, but please educate us out here. What is pickleball? Please. That's all I ask.
Apparently, it's a lower intensity sport than tennis, and apparently the elderly people tend to play it more.
It's for seniors and children. It's played with a large paddle and a wiffle ball, and it's extremely popular. They have, down in Jenkinsville, they have 8 courts. Crandall Park has probably 4, if not more, courts that they put in. They're busy all the time. Chestertown has some at the high school, and they're busy all the time. It's easy for children to play, and it's easier for people like me to play, instead of tennis.
It's become a craze.
It's very popular.
Around.
It's big at the YMCA.
All the camps have done it, a bunch of the motels and stuff around Boat Landing.
Vault Landing has.
It seems to be, and I've seen.
And the courts need to be done anyway. They're in tough shape. They need to be resurfaced, need some new nets.
Yeah.
So.
I've never seen.
Come up and address the board and give your name for the record, please.
No, okay, Teresa Whalen, 43 Durham Drive. So anyway, I have friends newly retired that play pickleball. But it is what you're saying, bigger paddle, bigger ball. Did we need to resurface the courts anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're in good shape.
Could tennis still be played on a pickleball? Is it still the same court?
You take one court,
Uh-huh.
and you can make 2 out of 1 court.
Oh, okay, all right.
So if the net's in the middle, you make 1 on each side. But
Okay.
yeah, you could. I have neighbors in Bolton that use it for both. They just have portable nets for the pickleball, so they
Okay.
can take that still. But we still have 2 perfectly good tennis courts there.
Okay, I mean 2 total, right?
We're still gonna have 2 tennis
Oh, we're
courts at
still
the
got
rec,
tennis courts.
but there'll be 2 pickleball
All
courts.
right.
Currently, we have 3 tennis courts.
Okay,
We'll only have 2
Two
tennis
tennis
courts, and
courts.
now 2 pickleball.
2 pickleball courts,
Yes.
okay.
So it's in the,
And it was, now, is this total to resurface the other
It's to do the whole,
courts? All
all of it,
Oh,
and to
okay.
reline and paint and everything.
Oh, great.
it's an extensive process, very specialized.
Yeah.
It's not actually asphalt work, it's more like coatings and polymers and things that go down.
Hills and cracks.
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be a needed, maintenance, item
Yeah, they're getting pretty.
anyway, that our tennis courts would need, and so now we have the versatility of the pickleball. Okay.
Okay, any other questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
I wonder what the difference is in the, are we comparing apples to apples with those 2 quotes?
I believe so, because we worked on the spec
It's the
and
same.
we made sure that it was the same
Fair.
product.
It's the same specs.
What's the pleasure?
Yeah.
No, you want to make a motion? You want to second it? Donnie, second it? Let's have a voice vote. We're getting awful feedback, John.
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
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 I'm gonna vote no.
No?
All right. And can you make sure you make copies for Brian so he can look those over?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, next item of business. Approve the minutes of the June 8th meeting. Somebody?
I'll make it.
Motion by Rich, second by Brian, approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2021 meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried. All right. Okay. That's it. Any comment, Grant, opening the hearing? Nothing? Motion, I'll close the public hearing. So we will approve doing the grant funding, so I need a motion to approve applying the $30,000 through the county. Councilman Alexander, second by Councilman Larkin, voice vote.
Alexander?
You can switch it up anytime you want. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can start at the other end, you can do whatever you want.
It's easier to go.
Yes.
Alexander, turn around.
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Okay.
Pam? A little louder.
Okay. Town clerk's report.
Let's see, this is for June 2021. We have miscellaneous dog fees of $10, commercial fireworks, $25, marriage licenses, $105. Let's see, clerk fees of, faxes are $33 or $35.50. Photocopies is $15.75, bringing the total of $51.25. Public health fees, certified copies, $10. Landfill fees, $18,469.
649.
Punch
Oh,
card,
460, okay.
469.
Now you're,
Punch cards, $180, bringing that a total of $18,649. Transient merchant permit, one at $125. Short-term vacation rentals, $900, bringing the total of $1,025. Dog licensing, totally on that is $638. Building permits, $187.75. Septic permit, $35, bringing total local shares remitted of $20,736.
okay. Supervisors report for the month of June. Total monies on hand, $3,236,573.35. Assessor's report.
Assessor report for July. Final rolls for 2021 have been completed and were made available to the public on Thursday, July 1st, in accordance with New York State real property tax laws. The ad proclaiming the same was posted in the local newspaper, the Post-Star, July 1st. Notices have been placed on both the town clerks and assessors bulletin boards in the town hall. 2021 final rolls can be viewed at the town clerk's and assessor's office during regular business hours. They also may review the town's or Warren County websites. The month of July, the start of the assessment cycle, the upcoming year, 2022.
Okay. Next would be dog control.
Dog control, Brett Walton. He answered an abuse call on Commercial Avenue. He answered 4 calls on dogs running loose on Stacy Street, 3rd Street, Raymond Lane, and Main Street. He answered a call from the Warren County Sheriff's Department about an incident of a dog bite up at the North Country Inn. He answered a call from Public Health about a dog bite on Rocky Ridge. He answered a call from Warren County Sheriff about a dog that attacked another dog on Skylark Lane. And he answered complaints of 12 dogs barking at a Burdick Avenue residence with a recommendation he gave to them that they needed to find homes for 8 of the dogs or they would probably end up in court.
Okay. See, we didn't get a justice report. No. Dog, we did planning.
Planning. There were 2 septic and 11 land use development permits issued in the month of June. The planning board nor the zoning board have meetings this month due to the lack of applications. Last month, the Warrensburg Travel Park on Spruce River received a variance for the 8 campsites at the front of their property. The planning board started their review of the entire project of adding a total of 76 campsites. However, they adjourned the matter until September to await the results of the applicant's applications to the DOH and DEC and APA.
Okay, enforcement. Let's see, Jim, I'll read the report. You made a second round of grass inspections over the height, and 14 notices were sent out. The contract mower mowed 19 King Street. He site visited Hoffman Drive regarding a vehicle complaint and sent the property owner a warning. Attended court with the owner of 14 Skylark Lane, garbage complaint, garbage was removed. Attending court on owner of 2 4th Avenue garbage complaint. The owner did not attend the court. Forwarded a short-term rental law to the supervisor of the town of Thurman. Sent a warning notice to the owner of 2 1st Avenue, pickup full of garbage. Condition was corrected, but not within the required time. Made the 3rd trip grass violations. Sent out 1 junkyard violation, 1 garbage violation. Inspected new septic at 5 Loose Lane. Sent a notice of violation of owner of 247 River Street, no permit for a fence. Sent a requested new donation bin law to the Baptist Church. Spoke with the town attorney regarding 47 River Street and the travel trailer parked there. It's since been moved. Met with the town contract owner and site visited 20 Ridge Street, 31 Smith Street, 9 South Street, 3885 Main Street, 3951 Main Street, and 10 Hoffman Drive for home. To date, as of June 16th, they've sent out 49 notices. Site visit to Alton Avenue to meet with Joseph Townsend to discuss running a business on that property, which he could not do. Sent a second notice to the owner of the grist mill under section 95 of the town codes about removing a burned out building. And the rest is, the mowing was done. Issued a fireworks permit for Cronin's, issued a short-term rental permit for 6 Library Avenue, forwarded all notices to the fire company on burn permits, and replied to court regarding 2 1st Avenue, supplied photos and documentation. So again, codes had a busy month. Next would be beautification.
Do you have the reports?
Yeah, we
Okay,
have.
reports, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't include you in the email. And I have been to several times, so sorry. Teresa Whalen, Chair of Beautification. Town landscape, planting beds at the Bicentennial Garden at the Marcus Bruce Park, Town Hall, Bandstand, other locations along Main Street, and the entrance garden to the Farmers Market Park were evaluated and perennials where needed were planted, along with weeding, edging, and mulching, leading to getting ready for the July 4th weekend and the official beginning of summer. The tiered planter at the Veterans Park was weeded in time for the summer garden tour held this past Saturday, July 10th. The entrance sign planting beds to Echo Lake Park were reimagined, adding more color, height, and texture with more perennials accented by annuals, time for the opening of the park and beach. Warrensburg Community Garden. The gardens have really taken off, with vegetables growing horizontally as well as vertically. Flowers have also been incorporated into some of the beds to attract pollinators. Anna Busser is working with Warren County Soil and Water and applying for a grant for fruit trees and a perennial pollinator hedgerow on the side and rear of the interior of the garden. The access to the garden continues to improve as the park nears completion. Summer garden tour and cottage gardening presentation fundraiser was held on Saturday, July 10th. 9 private and 3 public gardens, in addition to our floral canoe, were included on the self-guided tour. Nationally acclaimed gardening expert Charlie Nardozzi spoke on cottage gardening at the Warren County Fish Hatchery. Local businesses donated raffle prizes, and Edward Jones Investments, John Gable Financial Advisor, sponsored the presentation. Many thanks to all who helped make Arden a success, including the gardeners who make this event possible. A copy of the press release, ad, and the sign-in program are attached. So hopefully you have that. Warrensburg Riverfront Farmers Market. On Friday market, has had its share of rain. Those vendors with product that is not affected by moisture have been showing up despite the weather. Our market is held rain or shine. The second annual Blueberry Festival will be held on July 23rd with additional vendors participating. A very popular event last year brought regional publicity for Warrensburg with a captioned photo on the front page of the Post-Star. Lots of interest this year and hopefully good local blueberry crops will be coming into supply the demand. New York State Ag and Markets has now lifted all COVID-19 interim guidelines, so we can give out samples to try at the market and once again offer free coffee in the gazebo. We still have a hand sanitizing station at the entrance, and social distancing is still encouraged. Warren Tannery Park and Heritage Trail. Steve Abbott has looked at the site and is creating an estimate for the work needed to be done to complete both phase 1 and 2 of the trail system. This will be shared at our next board of directors meeting and with the town. Hopefully this project will be underway this year.
Okay, thank you. Highway?
Anyway, this month been busy replacing culverts on Green Mansions Road and Pucker Street, ditching and cutting shoulders, getting them ready to blacktop, which should be done towards the end of July. Also have been doing our roadside mowing in both in town and out of town. We've sent a couple of tandems to the town of Johnsburg and Stony Creek to haul blacktop for their road paving projects. We've trimmed brush for a few days on Billy Pond Road for low-hanging branches in the driving lane. Respectfully submitted, that's that.
Okay, economic development.
The EDC committee continues to meet every other week with progress being made on a survey we hope to be able to put out in the near future. We anticipate that the results will help us be better prepared to work on issues that the community weighs in on. It will also help us better understand the direction we should work to go in as we plan our future activities. It has been suggested that the town should have in place regulations where property owners who own a property that comes into disrepair or has been damaged by a fire or other catastrophe should have to put up a bond to ensure the town is not left with a financial responsibility to rectify a potential neglected issue and to ensure the community does not have the appearance of neglected properties. We may need to go further and apply this language to new purchases to ensure that properties not brought up to speed and then left in neglect for further deterioration and become a hazardous condition. Additionally, as we look to improve our community, we have taken note of the fact that more and more Main Street front porches are becoming storage units, which take away from the overall appearance of the community. We also wish that ongoing garage sales could be limited to less than every week of the warm season, especially on our Main Street. There are positive things taking place in the community. We want our business owners to know that we are here to assist them in any way we can. Our lower Main Street area is filled up and appearance is upgraded to make us all proud. We continue to work on matters previously reported and progress can take time. Thank you, Rich Clark.
Some of the things that request we already have in place as far as buildings destroyed by fire. We have an unsafe building ordinance. It's a little complicated. You have to hire an engineer to go in and look at the building, but you can do that. We leave it up to the owners of the property, and we give them time to work through insurance claims and insurance losses to move on that. As far as the new purchases, I'd have to talk that over with Bob. I do know anybody who buys a property off the county auction now has 18 months to bring the property up to code so you can get a CO. You cannot buy properties off of the county auction anymore, just leave them there for months and months without bringing them up to CO. So we passed that. We did that based on the law that Jim found down in Kingston. So as far as some of these other things, when you tell people to clean up their properties, you always get a little pushback. So I just caution, we do have a building maintenance code already in place that we do enact on, like the lawn mowing. But as far as neglected properties, it's tough. We do contact these, and most of them are absentee landlords. They don't live in the community, and it's hard. We do try to push them, but I'd be willing to listen more if they have some suggestions. But it's not an easy fix, and it's a difficult thing for the town to go in and tell somebody, well, I guess it's all in what's neglected. So that's something we're gonna have to define, what's neglected, and they would have to define it. So, but I do think we have some things in place. So, landfill?
Yep, we're going black, $3,957 and change. Our scales are doing what we want them to do. And it's good, summer's here, and we'll, entire summer and fall, I'm sure we'll be making money at the landfill and have our scales paid off ASAP. Things are good too.
Okay, on lighting, I just asked, anybody has a street light out, please call the town hall. If you give us the pole number and the location, we can get them fixed. So we appreciate if you let us know that. Historian Museum.
Sandy Parisi, town historian. This is a 6-month catch-up. January, Stan Sanfrano came in on Thursday, January 7th, spent 3 hours with me sorting the Thurman collection. What was not anything to do with Lawrenceburg or Thurman, as separated by towns and county, and Stan will be delivering to them. There was so much stuff that there's no way we can keep all of everything we got. February, Donna LaGoy, Chestertown historian, came in to do research. I met with Supervisor Garrity, John Alexander, and John Gable to discuss the museum. March, Peter Haggerty brought in over 10 more notebooks from Gene Haddon. John Parker brought in scanned pictures of Sun Canyon. He will scan more that I brought in from Steve's personal collection. Louise from Warren County Historical Society visited. She needed help how to organize their files. Zoom meeting with all of the historians. April, Ashanon visited the office to talk about the history of the block. Miss Courtney Prosser came in, relative of John Cameron, looking for information. She was able to find quite a bit in the Cameron folder. May, met with Suzanne Tyler regarding museum job. Delivered items from Thurman that did not relate to Lawrenceburg or Thurman to Stan at Warren County Historian's office. As I go through, I learn more and more. Met with Andy Templeton, who was doing research on the Masons and the McNutt-Persons and Russell families. Received an inquiry from John McMains regarding his grandfather David, who was a minister in Lawrenceburg. I was not able to find any information. Received a request from Samantha Barton Fullerton regarding the Jones family. Again, I was not able to find anything. Received a request from Beth Murray regarding the Lockwood and Taylor families, and I was able to find quite a bit of information to send her. Received a request from Lynn Hagedorn looking for information for her DAR application. The family member was Nellie Cornelia Maddox Potter. I sent her to the town clerk for a death certificate. Received inquiry from Steve Moore looking for Civil War veteran Jedediah Norman. I was not able to find anything. June, Jerry Reed came in looking for information on Marilyn Monroe's visit to Lawrenceburg. I was able to give him quite a bit of information. I was invited and attended the grand opening of the Adirondack Experience. We had loaned them quite a few posters from World War II. That was the exhibit they were supposed to have last year for the anniversary, but because of COVID, they held it off to this year. One of their main exhibits this year is World War II. They had them framed, and we will get them back in frames at the end of the year. There's about 15 of them there. Huge. I was a guest speaker at the grand opening of the bond. I spoke about the property and its former owners. Interviewed 2 candidates for director. Both were chosen, but one declined. The new director, Laura Moore, will start work on July 19th. I am looking forward to working with her. Projects during January and June. We continued collecting COVID-19 articles and information. I have started notebooks back to February of last year that contain information relating to Warrensburg and the county, along with other articles and cartoons. At the end of June, I had 77 notebooks filled with COVID information. Filing Thurman records and sorting hundreds of Thurman quarterlies. Worked on Warren County projects for hotels, wrote job description for the museum director, e-papers, which was James McGee, papers were voluminous. Finally finished going through them in May. Sylvia said she needed to stop working and she needed time now that COVID was pretty much over to spend with her elderly mother and family. Darlene Gunther took over her position. I expect by the middle of July, I will no longer need the extra help. Between the both of them, we have accomplished a tremendous amount of work in putting the Thurman collection together. Shar Bavona was also a great help and continues to volunteer. Steve had a huge collection of personal items related to Lawrenceburg, and I have donated them all to both my office and the museum. And I don't talk about my hours, and the last page is all of the debts since January, which
Yes, quite a few.
there were quite a full page. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Parks and Rec.
The beach opened on June 19th with no issues and positive feedback. The grass has not stopped growing. The parks and the rec field are being mowed twice a week. And the little jobs such as weed whacking the road medians and mowing the transfer station. Fencing was set up for the graduation ceremony that was held at the rec field. Tracy Benoit.
Okay. Sewer, water?
The sewer plan failed on our settables test again this month. TPC was notified as well as Cedarwood Engineering. TPC knows we are moving forward towards getting the lagoons cleaned. A company that came to test the lagoons for a bid on cleaning them said there was one cell with 9 feet of sludge, one cell with 7 feet of sludge, and 2 cells with 5 feet of sludge. The lagoons are 18 feet deep. Parts were ordered in the ultraviolet system to do repairs and maintenance on. We lost power to pump station A and sewer plant on June 29th. The generators operated as supposed to. Water report. We shut the water off for residents for repairs and turned the water back on. The water was turned on. The meters were reinstalled on 2 residents. On June 30th, we repaired a curb shop off at 2352 Carrier Hill Road. There was also 1 frost pipe repair done. There was a leak in a piping county home well house. Piping needed replacement, and at the time we replaced several bad valves. We also had problems with our chlorine pumps. 3 pumps were rebuilt, and all the chlorine lines were flushed. Usage is averaging 20 hours a day with an average daily usage of 391,000 gallons per day.
Youth.
The town summer recreation program started last week and will run 4 days a week for 6 weeks. Sarah Winter directs the arts and crafts part at the elementary school. They are using the general purpose room. About 15 children are signed up to attend at this point. The school requires adults and children to wear masks, and parents are not allowed in the building. Mike Pearl directs the sports part at the recreation field. About 25 to 30 children are signed up right now. The town hired 12 teen staff to work, and a snack is being provided through their state nutrition program. The swimming lessons are being offered for ages 4 through 12 at Echo Lake Beach, and sign-up has begun for fall youth football.
Very good. Communications, we received a thank you from the fire company for the donation for the Jamboree fireworks, and we received a thank you from the school for the use of the recreation field, and also thank you to the recreation staff for helping them set up the graduation. We also received a thank you from the Green Mansions Development Building Number 10 President Nora Mongan for the work the Highway Department has done up there. She had called earlier this spring. We weren't sure if we could get to the road, but with the extra money that we have not used through CHIPS, and they restored the money, we're able to pave that road, and then we're able to work on Parker Street. So they're very happy up there at Green Mansions that we're going to be able to accomplish the work. Unfinished business. Any comments from the public or anybody on the hydro dam on the Schroon River? I'm going to have this on the agenda for a couple times. The FERC license renews next year, or maybe 2023 or 2024. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, anybody would like to make comments on that, please let us know. The only comment that we've heard so far is somebody requested that we ask that the Borlax remove the old intake system from the paper mill down there. It's all concrete. I don't know if that's something they could even do. It's attached to the dam I'm just not sure about that. But, let's see, the license. So if anybody has any concerns about the dam on the river, please get them to us, and then we'll respond accordingly to Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. Okay. I still need to get together the engineers. Our principal up there, his wife is having twins tomorrow, so we haven't been able to sit down and set up a meeting, but we're gonna sit down and try to come up with another location for a well. And that location will be on this side of town, away from our Horkin Avenue wells, only because I'm superstitious about having our wells up there in Horkin Avenue. I will say one thing, the aquifer up there could sustain one or two high-producing wells. And so we always have we always know we have good water available to us from that aquifer up there. But I just, as a backup, I really need to get something on this side of town, just in case we ever had a major collapse of the pipe down Horkin Avenue. And that doesn't mean that I wouldn't entertain taking two of the older wells and replacing it with a new high producing well. And they're talking about some wells that would produce 1,000 gallons a minute, which is a lot higher than what we get out of our wells currently. So in the future, maybe, but right now, we've got to get a well on this side of town somewhere. And they found some sites. It'll just be finding out who owns the land, setting up power. I think you need three-phase power to these wells, and then getting it into our system. So I'm still going to work on that. It's one of my goals to get that done. Next, we had discussion on resolution to request and declare Hackensack Mountain parcel and the parcel encompassing Blister Hills parkland. I know last month, we kind of held off on that, but I really want to go through with that. So I'm going to make a motion that we declare those two parcels parkland.
Second.
Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? Now, it's my understanding, just because we do it in the future, that if some other board came through and wanted to change it, they could, but they would have to change, they would have to swap acre for acre, other parkland for that parkland. So I'll make the motion.
State legislative approval.
And state legislative approval, right.
And last month we talked about how to describe the exact parcels, to be precise what properties are being subject, and it's a fuzzy thing on full mountain.
Well, I think it is all one parcel, isn't it?
So.
And Blister Hill is 84 acres, I know that.
That's a separate.
Are they separate?
That's separate. That's why I separate them.
If it's clear in the records, we have two rules.
It's two in the record. It is clear in our record, so.
Okay.
Now, remember my.
And it's a one-way thing, you can only come out of it with the state legislature.
That's correct.
Now, we have a well at the rec field. We were able to put a well down there. Was that there before? No, we must have drilled that well afterwards.
So that's on the watershed.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's on.
So, doing this parkland, are we giving up our ability to put a water well on that?
It is like, I've done that research recently. You have to do, it's restricted to park use. If you want to retain the right to use it for water purposes, you could make that part of the resolution.
That's a
retain the right for.
I can tell you that isn't one of the areas that they don't.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I'm just thinking way down the future. I know that it's probably not for system back there, and it'd be a very low intensity use that I think that the parkland would survive well around it. No noise, no nothing, no occasional visit from our water department. And so if we could put that caveat along with it, that would make me happy.
I don't know the rules.
Yeah,
I mean, you can set that now before you, as part of the resolution declaring parkland, to say that the town is reserving
With that
the
caveat.
right to use it for water district purposes, including putting in wells and lines. You know, we can, but that needs to be in the
Do you want to
resolution.
modify the resolution?
I would personally would like to see that, just
John, are you okay with modifying?
Sure.
Okay.
May I approach the board for regarding this?
Yeah, we're in discussion, so go ahead.
Okay, Gary Cooper, 87 Lake Avenue. Question, the parkland for Blister Hill, is this the same area that we were trying to put in solar panels?
It's part of it.
Okay, so if this parcel is now declared parkland, what are the procedures in the future for the town to put solar panels on parkland?
You can't.
Will it be easier or it will not?
Yeah.
Now, it'll be a part.
Thank you.
That's going to be part.
Thank you. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Any other discussion? We have modified resolution. Pam, do you have that resolution that's been modified?
just for the possible development of water.
The only,
Would you like us to prepare a resolution for your next meeting, and then we'll have it?
yeah, we can do it. Okay, we'll do it.
Well,
We'll get it.
if you want, we can. do
Yeah,
that.
we can wait till that.
So I will work on that
Okay, that's fine.
resolution.
And I think that,
And I think I could reference the two deeds then.
Very
So, declaring parkland.
next unfinished business, we had to continue discussion on New York cannabis law municipal opt-out provisions. Now, one more time, Bob, if we don't opt out, we're in, right?
If you don't opt out, it continues to be an allowed use. The state has made it that people can not only buy it.
So if we do nothing, we can
People
allow
can
these.
apply for
Name a dispensary in town.
a dispensary or a place to, I think of it as a bar where you can smoke. They call it something different, but an on-site cannabis use facility, something like that.
To bring the public up to speed, if we opt out, that means we opt out of all future taxes.
Correct, yes. You opt out of paying the tax dollars, and they still will have the right to buy it in any other.
But they could go-
municipality.
5 miles
Across the
north,
bridge.
5 miles south, and get it and bring it into your community.
Correct, it doesn't stop people from using it, it doesn't stop.
I think we just ought to not do anything. What, how's the board feel?
I'm not sure, what if no one even puts a store in, so I mean, I think we should.
It's good too.
It could be.
If there's one in Lake George, seeing the likelihood they're gonna go where you're not gonna, who knows, but if someone has that kind of feasibility, they'll kind of horsepower to come up here and put it in Warrensburg, go for it, but you're gonna see them around here, it'll be all right around us. Yeah.
There's a lot of tax involved in this.
This is something that we need to have open to the public discussion.
We can have a public hearing, I mean, it's our, is it allowed to have a public hearing on this?
I know other towns are.
Well, if you're considered, okay, there's two answers to that question. If you want to go forward with opting out, it's a local law, which you have a
Well,
public
that's a
hearing
public
for.
hearing.
So you do have to have a public hearing if you pass a law. You do not need to have legally any hearing or any action. You're not acting, you're not doing anything. Because what the state puts continues to operate. There's nothing wrong if the town board wants to schedule a hearing. It's not an official public hearing, which meets a statutory requirement to act, because you cannot act. If you want to, you had a discussion at the last town board meeting, you had a discussion at this town board meeting. If you want to have discussion at the next town board meeting, you run out of time to pass a law to opt out as time goes on, as we explained before.
I think, I'm inclined not to opt out, just, there's too much tax dollars, too much revenue for us to live in a vacuum and opt out of this. That's just my feeling. I think if it's gonna be around us, it could happen. But if you want to schedule an informal discussion next month, that'll be the last one.
Well, I just want to know if the public would be interested in voicing your thoughts on it. I think we should just let it go.
So different liquor stores, their licenses and then it's
At this point, I think the board's in agreement, we're not going to compel it. But if the public would like to weigh in, I want them to have the opportunity
I think
to.
that's,
Well,
well,
we're gonna-
know, so you don't have complaints, you know.
I know.
I'll keep it open.
This is 2 months you've talked about it.
We'll
Talked about
We'll
it.
post something in the paper for next month. We'll have another discussion and that'll be it. If we don't get a lot of pushback, but they gotta remember the ramifications if you turn it down, so,
And
okay.
it will not stop people from being able to use it in town.
Nope.
It's just sell it or have a location like a bar where people can come in and use it inside.
Okay, that's it on unfinished business. I'll keep that on the agenda. New business, discussion on installing the splash pad. I'd like to, permission to go ahead and get some information on installing a splash pad, get the specifications and then, after I bring it to you next month, and then maybe we put it out for bid in the future. And the splash pads are pads, they're concrete pads that have water that comes up. We have a location at a recreation field. They're good in the hot days of summertime. They're different from going to the beach. They're popular, although they just installed one down at Crandall Park and they've had to dig it up. And I've talked to Tracy about it and he would like a little more time to study how we would feed it, how much water they use and this and that. So if you're all right, we'll go ahead with that and next month I'll bring you back something. This was proposed to me by a 4th grader along from the school, and they had great ideas. I don't know if you read the article in the Sun. I met with the 4th grade class at the school. They all had great ideas. The splash pad, keeping the community clean, which I think that the economic development, once I read the article, stole the 4th graders. And then the congestion of the traffic around school. And, which I gotta get with Mr. Grosky before he retires and let him know. And then, the noise from short-term rentals, not in the town of Wardsburg, they happen to be in the town of Thurman, which I turned over to, the Thurman, town supervisor. So they were all good things, and, if we can do something like this, I think it's positive for the community and positive for at least that young man. When he grows up, and we'll get him over here when we dedicate the splash pad. So.
Is it age restricted?
But
Is it age restricted?
I don't think so. I don't know enough about it right now.
We'll allow you to attend.
Next, I need a resolution request to enter in a memorandum of agreement for the Swan Street Culvert Project with Warren County Soil Water Conservation. Warren County Soil Water Conservation is seeking funding on behalf of the town of Warrensburg for New York State DEC for planning and design of a new crossing in the sum of $30,000. There would be personnel match from the town in the amount of $2,583 along with equipment uses. What this is soil water will talk to the highway superintendent about different areas where they think we should replace culverts. And they're asking for us to sign a memorandum of agreement to allow them to go out and engineer this and then actually do the installation, and the town will provide in-kind services. So I need a motion to move forward with this.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
I did read this while sitting here. It also talks about the $750 of personal match. Is that supposed to be the town supposed to pay $750 toward Kathy Suazzo's hiring for the grant application? That's how I read it.
Defer that to Eddie.
From what I have been told, it's in-kind service with her engineering if she needs a piece of equipment to dig a piece up to see if there's room to put something, or everything I believe is in-kind. There's nothing out of pocket.
Okay, I would read this as $750 plus that.
Okay. So a motion to sign this. Motion by Rich.
I'll second it.
Second by Brian to sign the memorandum of understanding. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next, a resolution request to put out to bid a new 2023 Western Star single axle truck with plow. This truck is for the highway department, and it will be under county contract. The bid price is $205,104. So I need a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by John, second by Donnie to go out to bid for 2023 Western Star single axle dump. We'll do a voice vote, please.
Council President Alexander.
Yes.
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 Winslow.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's one question.
Yeah.
Director, are we gonna need a bond resolution in the future for financing this when it comes in?
In 2022.
So we could do the bond resolution, just to make sure we're not doing it last minute.
No, 2022.
You need the money then. because-
We aren't gonna need the money till 2024.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let us
14
know when you
months,
need a bond.
14-month delivery.
It's 14 months.
Okay.
No, not right away. Okay, yeah, resolution request to approve various water rate changes. They're in your packet. There are water rate changes, and it increases the water rents $466. And the second one be a resolution to change the sewer rate changes, and that one actually reduces the sewer warrant by $351. I want a motion to do both of them, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by John. Second by Donnie. Let's have a voice vote on both of these changes.
Councilperson Alexander.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Pepper.
Yes.
Winslow. Yes. Clark.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The long-awaited notice from the Division of Budget, New York State, has been received. We will receive $403,480 in coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund. When this started out, it was $700,000. Then it went down to $442, and the magic number now is $403,480, and this will get two payments, 50% this summer and 50% next summer. So we need to put together a plan. My own personal opinion is we should use this strictly for water sewer projects, which is one of the biggest things that we have going for us. But I will take any suggestions. Once we receive the money, we only have a short period of time to get a plan together. But as you know, we have the well, we have the transmission line from the tank down to the system that has to be replaced this year. And then, of course, we have the dredging of the lagoons that have to be done this year. Those projects will all qualify for this. I've also asked Lake George Regional Planning Board to apply for grants for all those projects too. So we're trying to, these projects are expensive projects. I mean, we're talking about probably $1 million for the water line. We're talking potentially close to $1 million to dredge the lagoons. And then the well will probably be $350,000, $400,000 to do a new well. But by the time you get the electrical in, and you get all the piping in. So we're talking about major sewer water projects. If anybody else has anything else they'd like to, please go online, read the information, but I do know the water sewer projects are approved. But I'll wait until next month. So after we get the money, then we need to start moving on it. So, but it's good. It's $403,480 we didn't have, and this will offset these water sewer projects. I would like to see us do that, but that's okay. That's just my opinion. I have some new employees. I can't get this thing typed fast enough. I mean, I typed this today and we've already got changed. But anyways, I'd like to welcome Laura Moore as the part-time museum director. Darlene Gunther was the assistant to our historian until 4:30 today. Now she's no longer an assistant to the historian, but maybe will she come back if she's needed in the future? Or you don't know?
Oh, possibly,
Okay.
yeah.
And
I
then-
just don't think I mean, I don't feel I want to spend.
I understand. I get it. And then I want to welcome Leanna Malloy as the new town court clerk. And she's been on the payroll now for a week or so. And she's fitting right in. So I want to welcome those new employees. Also, I sent a letter of appreciation out to Carlos Fataban. Carlos was one of our crossing guards from the beginning. And that man never missed a day, hardly. He was always there doing the crossing guard. He wanted to retire. I talked to his daughter today. She thinks he should keep working. I don't know why, but anyways, Carlos was an excellent employee. He and Mr. Perry, Jerry Perry, they're there every day unless they have a doctor's appointment or something, and then they can sure the kids cross safely from school. And if you listen to the fourth grader, they're needed because congestion over there is pretty tough. So I welcome Carlos. I know he enjoys doing some things, and but if he ever wants to come back to work, we welcome him. So we sent him a nice letter. And then next, I like a resolution request for proclamation of appreciation to Naomi Cooper for her many years of service as a town court clerk. She also performed the duties of the town bookkeeper up until around 2007, along with the court clerk work. Naomi started working for the town, I think June 1st, 1972. She was part-time, and she went on full-time after that, and her last day of work would be July 30th. So I'd like a resolution. I'll make the motion that we send her a resolution of appreciation. Second by John. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Does she get a gold watch for 50 years?
Really? I think they got something planned for her. So, but yes, she's been steady. Again, a tough job back there. It's not an easy job when you're working with people who most of the time come in, could be a little upset. And as we see now, court is back in session. Court is becoming very busy again. There's quite a gap in the courts, but the room is starting to fill up again every Wednesday, and the cases are lasting long and long. Liana seems to be fitting in very well. She seems to like it, so we're happy to have her. We're lucky that we were able to find somebody, and we'll see where that goes. So welcome to the new place. We have budget modifications tonight. I have two in the general fund. First general fund modification is taking $500 off contingency fund and transferring into museum electric. The second one is taking $300 out of contingency and putting it against the beach electric. The reason why we're transferring funds from contingency into both those electric codes is because this winter, with the museum down, they had electric heater there, which drove up the electrical cost there. And then at the beach, they worked in the wintertime on the beach house. And if you haven't seen it, you should go out and try to see it. They redid the whole beach house, so they had electric heaters in there this winter, which drove up the cost of electric. And then we have one in the cemetery fund. We have take $499 out of cemetery contractual and transferred into cemetery equipment, and that's because we bought a new mower. We had to get a 30-inch mower to maneuver around the gravestones up there, and the old one had the radish. The Cemetery Association stiffed us and gave us something that didn't work. It's $499, and we have a new mower. And then the last two are in the water district, and we're transferring money out of transmission distribution equipment in the amount of $10,000, and we're just putting it into the source of supply. That's a 0.2 to a 0.2. And the second one is transmission distribution contractual, $4,000, and we're putting in the source of supply contractual, $4,000. So motion to approve these budget modifications. Motion by Donnie. Second by Brian to approve the budget modifications. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Tonight we have a warrant. It's $326,902.99. It's listed on your agendas. Most of it is we're paying for a new highway truck. $205,000 of that is to pay for the new highway truck. And plus we have a sweeper coming. So we have a new highway truck that we just received and a sweeper. So motion to pay warrant number 7. Motion by Rich. Second by John to pay warrant number 7. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, next I open up comments on anything. Anybody wish to address the board, please come up, state your names for the record. Please.
And I don't know who is responsible for it, but when you come out of the Tops parking lot or the street next to
gonna
it,
say.
the bushes are getting taller and taller. And it's getting hard to see.
Yeah, I
There's
was
so
gonna-
much traffic coming up, down.
Agree.
We didn't put them there.
Mhm.
We didn't put them there, but we can remove them.
Yeah. Well, cut them or whatever.
Even before the main, before the main.
Did we not cut them?
They cut them 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Well, they're up there.
Yeah, they're, everything, we can't keep up with, stuff's been growing crazy this year.
How about give them a buzz, Tom? Okay?
Yeah, it is very hard.
No, I noticed that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them a buzz.
All right, we'll give it a brush. Thanks, Peggy. Anybody else, please?
If I could just touch on 3 subjects. One is, did we not buy something to do some of the sludge work? And you said somebody to Vermont, we spent $200.
We did.
Are we still doing that?
Yes,
Well, we just can't do it enough.
No.
Got it, okay. So
it's way, we have 2 bags filled down there already of sludge that we
I
pump,
thought we did, yeah.
but it just doesn't, we cannot, if that was done in 1993, it may work, but being that they're, and then there for so long.
That just means we have too much stuff here then.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we've got to.
And a thought with regards to Mr. Larkin's comments with regards to Main Street, and I agree completely, but one idea came to mind. I think beautification did it a few years, and then what they did is sort of a contest for houses around the town. And then they gave awards at the end, and I'm wondering if we could do something like that on Main Street, to where there was something in it for them in the end, and a little bit of competition in terms of doing it. So maybe, I don't know.
We give out beautification awards. We did used to do that every year.
Yeah, I mean, I listed houses where they had it out there,
Yeah.
you know, that they won the
Yeah.
award. and
We're
that sort of
about
thing.
5
Maybe
years
that would be
behind.
something about getting people to clean up, and I don't know if there's any money, there used to be some money for some facade money. I don't know if there is now.
The Main Street grant, we tried it twice, remember? We got some one time and then we got turned down. It's called Main Street, we can look into it.
Well, make it a little fun, you know.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And the last thing is, want to thank you for making sure that future generations don't have to worry about whether it's parkland or not. But I think it was a very learning experience, and I want to tell you something. I've met so many great people, and not just from here. And even now, the other day, I'm driving through and it's pouring rain, and there's 2 cars up there hiking, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if we could take some of that enthusiasm and turn it into something even more positive. I don't know if any of you have been down to some of the, like George Parks and the ones at Queensbury, but they're really nice to arrive to. That one there kind of looks like an orphan, and I'm wondering if I can use some of that enthusiasm, you know, to get it spoofed up. I've got a list of people who said, if you're gonna do a cleanup day or something, call me. So I'm wondering if we could do that, and maybe, you know, make it a fun time where we need to clean it up. I mean, a lot of the trails are grown in, you know, and some of the signs are down and that sort of thing. So that sort of thing. But I'm wondering if I could go around and get some hot dogs and some hamburgers and, you know, some things like that, and make it sort of a fun day. And then, you know, maybe do it I've got people who are in Binghamton, so if you're gonna do it, let me know, and we'll, you know, try to do it. So, well, what I need from the town board is approval to do it, but also there's a lot of cut stuff over there that we need picked up and taken to the landfill. So if we could get Parks and Recs or something to bring a truck at the end of the day and load everything up and do it. What are your thoughts?
Some other folks have mentioned there's a lot of brush, trees and things down on the trails. I think it's a great idea. When you do that, Linda, I'd be glad to come over and work with you.
Yeah, I've got a whole list of people who said, call me if you're gonna do it, so I'd like to use that, you know, and go from there. I mean, our other parks are so pretty, but you know, how many do they accommodate, 5 or 10 or something in a day, or we could have 50 people in a day usually. Okay, all right, that's it, thank you.
Anybody else? Any comments on it?
Teresa Whalen, Economic Development Committee member, beautification chair, and seasonal employee, Parks and Rec. So I've been out there a lot on Main Street and in the parks and everywhere. And what I'm finding is that there's a lot more that needs to be cleaned up. And I'm not saying it's our responsibility as the town, it's the individual's responsibility who own these properties. One issue is sand in parking lots from the winter that is still there. And John and I are out there basically sweeping up not only garbage, but sand. And it's really not the responsibility of the town, it's the responsibility of the individual property owners. It's not safe, and it certainly is not attractive. Now, I know we have an ordinance about the height of grass, but there's other things out there, like for instance, people using their front porches as storage units. And I'm not talking about just Main Street. I'm talking about Denu Drive, I'm talking about Lake Avenue. I mean, I'm always driving around, we're always driving around, looking at all of the beautiful properties that people are maintaining and taking pride in. And it really is I feel very sad for the individuals that live on either side of these properties, who maintain their properties well.
You talk about stuff piled up on porches.
I'm talking about the front porch.
See, we actually have contacted a couple of land or homeowners, or landlords on a few of these properties that the best we can do right now is we can send them a letter and say that that's a hazard, because they do have bags and garbage piled up on, and it becomes a hazard to get to the apartment, or a fire hazard. So we do send notices out. We don't have a lot of enforcement teeth right now where we can go on to these properties and do that. That would probably, we'd probably have to overhaul something, Bob, to do that right now. So I guess we can bring it up, we can talk about it, but we had one particular building in town that looks terrible, and it's owned by a corporation. And we have reached out to that corporation numerous times. We have gone to the local store manager numerous times. It gets us nowhere. So I guess if you want us to do that, we're gonna need help, because for every one person that says you should do that, I'm gonna have 10 in here saying, don't tell me what to do with my property. So we have to be careful about how we broach this subject. If it is and Warren County, to their credit, those guys will not go on a property at all for code violations unless, we request it or somebody requests it. So it's a very difficult thing what you're talking about. I understand where you're coming from, but it's really a pride of community. So it's one of these things where we need to get the pride of community. But if we talk about it more, perhaps we'll get the message out.
And these are habitual offenders, and it really does make
I'm not making excuses.
It brings it down.
I'm not making excuses. But most of the people who get the notices for grass are the same ones that have gotten the notices before. So I believe one of the things we're going to do next year, we're not going to send out notices to the ones who get them every year. We're just going to bring them into court and say to the court, you need to take care of your property. It's the same people all the time. I understand, but there again, we do contact landlords. We do try to get the landlords to adhere and get these properties cleaned up. But a lot of times, it's a mute. There's only so much you can do unless you have laws or ordinances.
Well, that's the next part of review our ordinances and seeing if we need to update them. And just like we do normally, and and factor all of this in. I didn't read what the fourth grade class said. This is just what I'm observing. Another issue, and this is not even in our town, but it's the entrance to our town, and it's Lake George. And where Rondak Realty used to be is an eyesore. And what can we do about this?
Nothing.
I mean, it's all of these weeds, this broken down building, right below the Price Chopper that everybody loves to go to now. I mean, it's just, There's nothing we can do, we can't work with Lake George?
What you should do is you should call the town of Lake George and tell them. Because I have contacted town of Lake George
Okay.
about particular properties, about cleaning up properties getting off of exit 23. And I spoke to my colleague and they start to clean up the properties and they just leave it. They don't care about exit 23. All they care about is getting the tax dollars
Right,
off
and
exit
I'm
23.
sure that they don't.
So, I hope Dennis, if you're watching, I may see him tomorrow, but Dennis, town of Lake George, I will definitely reach out to him again and say that it was brought up at our board meeting tonight about exit 23. And I have spoken to him and it's not our town.
But I'm just wondering if they have ordinances.
Oh, they
that
know.
cover that.
Dan Baruch, their guy, sure, he certainly knows. He knows about the one particular property because I spoke directly with Dennis about that and he talked to their zoning person about that. I didn't specifically talk about the Aletto property there, the one you're talking about going up the price chopper. But I can tell them tomorrow that we're getting, but I can tell you, John Q. Citizen writes letters to the Lake George Town Board. That does a lot. So if anybody in this room wants to do a letter and send it to Dennis Dickinson, the Lake George Town Board, they'll get the message. Sometimes it means more coming from citizens than it does from us. Municipality to municipality, but I will call Dennis, but thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody else? Come on, Gary. One more bite of the apple.
Gary Cooper, Lake Avenue, Warrensburg. Question, where do we as town citizens dispose of solar panels? I know that the town dump doesn't accept them, as I've asked. And due to the fact that our town has invested so much money in solar panels, where would the town dispose of them when they are broken or they no longer work? Because I have solar panels and I don't want them.
I think it's in your contract.
And I don't like my contract. But my question is, where would the town dispose of them?
I would call a solar company.
Because right now I have a broken solar panel and I can't dispose of them at our town dump.
I would call the person who installed your panels.
They must talk to me. Sorry. My other question is this, Highway Superintendent, can we look at Echo Lane? I think there's a lot of issues with heaving and everything over the years. And on the southern west side, there's a lot of erosion on Echo Lane. Definitely due to the fact that we've had a lot of water, a lot of rain, torrential downpours. If we have any money in the budget to resurface Echo Lane, it's a cul-de-sac going down to Jenny Jill and direct water with the side blacktop and direct it over into a drain culverts. If we could do that, I think that would be beneficial to the people on Echo Lane as well.
You know when that was put in?
There's no culverts to the southwest of it. It's all eroded.
No, I mean, when was Echo
Echo
Lane?
Lane, I know the home I own on Echo Lane was in 2001, but everything else is prior to that.
So there's probably no drainage or any part of that.
If you go down to Jenny Jill,
Just down.
Jenny Jill Drive in Echo Lane, a lot of the water in that culvert area, it builds right up. And I think a couple of years ago, you guys did go in there and try and redirect, which did work. But I think we need to look at that if it's in the budget.
Thank you.
I know we did the Burdick Ave sewer, but when are we doing anything with James Street and Sanford Street for sewage? Is it, I know we've talked about it for many years. And we're talking homes that are on those streets that are, they're $300,000 plus homes. When are we gonna be able to give those residents the benefit of town sewer and charge appropriately and get that in there? Sanford Street and James Street, just to bring that area up to par for tax purposes as well.
That is another sewer Library Avenue Extension, that's part of Library Avenue Extension, that's ongoing. We've got, that is on the, we file for money from New York State every year for that. We refiled for that, so it's on our radar.
It's in the works.
It's on our, I think how it works is first, we've had engineering studies. We have had studies done on that. So what you do is you really have to once you get your engineering study done, it's all complete. I don't think we touched James or Sanford because we were trying to go down Library Avenue because of the income level. And the other thing about Library Avenue is some of these grants are income eligible grants, so you look at different areas. The other thing that bothers me about Library Avenue is all those on the left-hand side going down, all those septic systems basically run into the Schroon River eventually. Even though they're sitting there, they go. So we've tried, we've dyed some of those systems and done that, but it's all part of our Library Avenue sewer extension. So it's on the radar. I can't tell you a date. I'll let you know after this round of funding. We'll see how we do. We've gone to Lake George Regional Planning on some of these water sewer grants. And I do know that I do know that Cedarwood is continuing to work on that area. And they look for funding every 6 months for us to find it. But we would have to have grant funding, or we could just take it on those two streets by themselves, and then we'd have to back charge the homeowners on the street to do an extension right now. We'd have to do an extension, but they would be responsible for all the costs. Everything else we've done so far, we've been really lucky because we've done extensions to the district and we've been able to keep the costs the same. On something like Sanford and James, I would think would go.
Northern Lights Department just did their own. Remember the Sanford?
Yeah, they just went ahead and did their own and raised and put in new septic system and everything else.
No, they're
on us.
They're on us now.
They did their own system. It was very expensive.
And it's no further than the Northern Lights, correct?
Well, this they're
Force main.
Force main is smaller
Okay.
lights than one too,
All right.
for their apartments. Right.
But I wrote it down. I'll check into it.
Asking.
And the other thing we haven't heard back on is expanding our hamlet. I gotta follow up on that. We're trying to, the APA hasn't gotten back on us on expanding the hamlet.
What does
And,
it take to do that? And how far can you?
well, our application is in front of them up there. I don't know what's taking them so long.
Well, how far were you expanding it to?
Well, we just did where the sewer water lines were right now.
I was told today that they're meeting tomorrow to review a bunch of different stuff. I had a personal interest.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, you're on the agenda. And we should be on the agenda up there too.
but that's tomorrow. We should hear that.
But I got the information here. Nothing else tonight? I thank everybody for coming out. Glad to see everybody again. Anything on YouTube?
Nope.
YouTube is good, so I guess we motion to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you.
I know.
What's that?
Yeah.